Oh, buddy, I love the Alien movies. I love Alien. I love Aliens. I like Alien 3 just fine. Alien Resurrection is okay. Watched it recently. Wasn't as bad as I remember. Aliens vs. Predator, I would put those in their own category. And honestly, I would put Alien Covenant and Prometheus in their own category. So in reality, what I mean is I love Alien and Aliens. And the rest are fine. They exist. Now, Alien Romulus is the first time I felt like we're getting like a proper mainline Alien movie. Yes, I know we have Covenant. Yes, I know we have Prometheus. But let's talk about Alien Romulus. What I loved about it, some concerns that I do have, which I feel like are probably shared by some people. And no spoilers until the very end when I will spoil one of the things I really didn't like about the movie. And then we'll wrap it up. Let's talk about it. Okay, thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, I would urge you to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, do all that good stuff. It really helps the channel, trying to get to 500 subs so I can monetize this-ish. Okay, Fede Álvarez. He directed Evil Dead, the remake. I didn't see it. I heard it was awesome. It looked like a little bit too much for me. I'm not a big fan of like the excessive gore and dismemberment in my movies, which is weird because I love Alien and Aliens, movies that have that kind of stuff. I love Alien Covenant, even though it has like this super duper graphic, probably like one of the most graphic scenes in all these movies. But anyway, like as soon as I found out he was directing an Alien movie, I was like, yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be scary. Both of those things are true here. What I liked, the performances are fantastic. I think Cailee Spaeny as Rain is incredible. I love all these characters. I love Andy. I love Navarre. Like, I love all the characters here. They have tremendous chemistry, which means when one of them dies, it matters and you feel it. The most important things about this movie work. It's scary. It's intense. It's violent. You're like edge of your seat. It feels very raw and like very well produced, and the world feels lived in. The setting feels like it takes place between Alien and Aliens, which is when it does take place. The staging, the shots, the technology in the ships and on the colony, all of this stuff works extraordinarily well, and the world building here truly is first class and world class, and I freaking love it. All that stuff about this movie is great. Performances across the board, awesome. The story overall, with two quite kind of major exceptions, which I'll talk about at the end. Everything else about it's great. I think overall that I love this movie, and yet it has two really, really like noticeable problems. I don't know if they derail it for me, to just be completely blunt. I think this movie is so good in the things that matter the most that I think I can take those other things and see them in the context of the movie, but be okay with them. So we'll see how I look back on this movie in 6 months and 10 years and all that stuff. But overall, I really, really enjoy the time I had with this film. So I love Alien Romulus. And now we're gonna get into some light spoilers. This movie does that thing that movies like this tend to do, which is they take an idea that's either been done before and maybe was like on the cutting room floor of another movie or like a previous deleted scene, and then they shove it in the movie at the end and make the movie like 15 minutes too long. This movie is probably 10 minutes too long, and there's a part at the end that's tacked on that feels just very unnecessary. So it has a negative impact on the ending of the movie because it feels like something that the studio kind of shoehorned in, and the CGI is not very good. Okay, so now I've gotten the bulk of the review out of the way. I said I like this movie. I said it ends kind of weird. The ending's a little bit too long. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see the movie. Now I'm going to spoil. So spoiler alert, if you don't want the ending of this movie, or I'm sorry, a major part of this movie spoiled, time to turn away. There's all this talk about like an egregious cameo in this movie. if you want to call it a cameo, you would be wrong. It's not a cameo. There is a full-fledged previous alien character in this movie, and it's weird because you have Andy, this android, so not all of the androids look the same. So there's an android named Rook, and it's just digital Ian Holm. I'm not opposed to them doing this, but it's not a cameo. It's a full-fledged character that's in like a huge chunk of like an hour of this movie. Rook is a central character to it. He's not a cameo, he's a full-fledged character. I don't know why they didn't just have a different actor play this role. It seems a little excessive. Again, I'm fine with that as long as it looks good, and here it doesn't look good. It looks awful. The difference, and here's what's really frustrating, is the set design and the raw, like, how should I put this? Like the actual practical effects of this movie are fantastic. So when you have egregious CGI that looks really bad, it really stands out. And we've gotten to the point where CGI characters can be shot well. It's pretty obvious what happened here, and that's they screwed up the lighting. Like, you could have this character more in shadow and in darkness, and instead they just like blast light on his face, and it makes the CG look very, very, very bad. They could have handled this significantly better. Like, we get that it's Ian Holm who's dead, like who's actually not living anymore. He passed away several years ago, so I don't think he was involved in this film. He sounds fine, but the character just looks terrible. So again, not opposed to having him in the movie, but it just looks bad. And then the CGI at the end, which more spoilers, of the like humid hybrid alien with the face of the engineer, just doesn't look good, and it also feels like they're cribbing a little bit from the ending of Alien Resurrection. So it seems like they just did the Alien Resurrection thing again, and it just didn't need to be in this. And I wonder if any of this, I mean, this is a 20th Century Studios movie. That's Disney. And if Disney had their hands in this and decided that, hey, you have to do this and you have to do this, and there was some studio meddling in this movie, I'd be extremely disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised. So I loved Alien Romulus. I had some pretty big qualms with it. They are vastly overwhelmed by the good and the incredible practical effects and the action and the story and the acting and the intensity and the horror. All of that aspects are tremendous. So really liked it. That's my review. Thanks so much for watching the video. Again, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.